podcast. This is OJ Lopez and episode 3 of Business One-to-Ones here at BNI chapter. So we're actually doing this podcast to document my BNI journey, and because I'm relatively a new member of the chapter, and we would like to know more about our chapter members. Hence, we do a one-to-one with them. And in this episode, we have a very special guest who happens to be the general manager of Interfield Survey and Geotechnical Services, Ma'am Ching Bacus. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to know more about your business. Of course, I want to know more about you. And at the same time, I'll be sharing also, what we do in Revastaff. So my first question is, before your business or before Interfield, what is your background?
Before Interfield, what is my background? First of all, I am a civil engineer and a geodetic engineer. And I also have completed urban and regional planning at the University of the Philippines. And then I was employed.
Is this
UP Diliman.
Diliman? Oh, nice.
And then after graduation of after finishing civil engineering, I was employed at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And then I resigned I opt to resign because I like to explore more outside. So and I started my practice for geodetic engineering in 1993.
1983? I was not even born yet.
Oh, yes.
So 1983. So how many years did you spend in the NNR?
16 years.
16 years. And then,
16 years.
Okay, cool.
16 years.
16
Government service.
16 years government service. Because as for me, my dad is also in the Philippine Ports, and then which became a Cebu Ports Authority. But he never did resign and start his business. He retired actually just this year after 43 years in government service. So I can just imagine, because right now, millennials, you can't even stay in a job for 2 years. That was first. Anyway, why did you start? So after DNR, Interfield na. Or did you?
First, it was BHP Engineering Services, which has the same line of services, surveying, project study. We do also environmental impact assessment, environmental impact statement, which leads to to the issuance of environmental compliance certificate, because that's BHP Engineering Services. It exists from 1993 to 2004. It just happened to change the name, registered it again as BHP, from BHP Engineering Services. It was upgraded to Inter-Philippine Survey and Geotechnical Services because of my association to highly competent geotechnical engineers.
Okay, I see. And but you are still doing the same services?
The same services.
Okay. And what does that mean? Having your last statement of having access to competent geodetic engineers. What's the difference between the previous company and Interfield?
All the same, but it has added that geotechnical explorations for soil testings.
Okay.
It is another special expertise for we do soil testing for the design of buildings. That's the add-up specialized lines.
So this was 2003?
It started in 2004.
2004, okay. What, 15 years? Interfield plus another...
Put it this way, in 2000, how we were able to associate with each other. Because from 1990, when was it? I resigned in 1993 from the government service. So I have my private practice as geodetic engineer and all of the sorts of relevant engineering services. Anything about what building construction needs, we do. We cater services. We do cost estimate as well, like that. So after it just happened, it was just a coincidence. What I mean, maybe somehow it was maybe time of me to be lucky on the time that I was being. I joined the consultancy work. Because of my exposure in the consultant work with the foreign consultant like Katahira, like Pacific Consultant International, I was then with them. It was then that I met this highly competent geotechnical.
So these are
materials.
foreign entities?
Foreign entities to be the consultant of that SRP.
Okay.
I was employed there from beginning to end.
I see.
And then after finishing the project, it was then that our line of expertise will be defined. They assigned me to do line and grade, like that, volume measurement, like that, and then just be specific with survey, project survey. And then when I joined that materials engineer we associated, it had been upgraded to survey and geotechnical.
Okay, I see.
So after finishing that, my job in this Cebu South Reclamation Project, the SRP, one of the affiliate local Filipino consultant assigned me there in Manila.
Okay.
That's why I was being appointed as department manager for survey and geotechnical. That's how we associated. And until now, I bring that, I implemented that kind of services until I think to retire when I reach 60. But just to discover nga, it's not a retirement.
Right.
Dili pa di ita ka retire.
Interesting for me to talk to you, having this long career. What is your advice for young professionals who wants to engage in business and to also have a prosperous career?
Just like what we always hear in this education time of our meeting, just having a goal. You are new, then you have to have a goal, because if you have a goal, it puts you in a time frame.
Okay.
And it sets, it urges you to have the focus because you are working within a time frame. That's my advice. Having a goal, you have to set a goal and focus.
And with regards to setting a goal, because right now, as for my case, my goals 5 years ago are different from my goals right now, right? So
You change.
yeah, you change, especially if you are able to achieve those goals. Of course, you have to go to the next level.
Next level. Okay.
to the next level, right? So, what are your strategies that you can advise on how you would be able to reach or achieve those goals that you have set?
Strategies. Strategies is, of course, your skill while exposing to that endeavor, to that field where you are in. You learn many things every minute. Every time you do things, you learn. And then you achieve those purposes. You succeeded in reaching that goal, and then there you are successful. And then the next thing, okay, you go up to the next level. It would be easier. because you are more intelligent
Right.
than before. See that? I always discover that to myself. Like before, I was a student. My first course is civil engineering. When I was a student, I really cannot imagine how this building is being
Right,
built.
right.
Should I tell myself, should I take up civil engineering today, this time, I would have been summa cum laude. I would have been very excellent. Unlike before, I'm just learning, memorizing formulas without knowing where can it be applied.
Yes.
So now you're exposed because why is it that you keep on elevating, not changing, upgrading, but it's the same you who perform because you are brighter always. Because every time you do things, you are happy and you learn many things. And then that makes you more confident because you are already experienced, exposed to your lines, and because no matter if you graduate summa cum laude and you have no experience, still no, it wouldn't work. There is no substitute for experience.
So, in that case, you just really have to try a lot of things and experience those things, even if you make mistakes, right?
Yes. If you failed, like you intend to do this, you invest your effort and money, and you fail. It's not the money. You don't lose anything if you learn something about that failure. If you failed, and then you learn about the lesson on that failure, that's a gain.
Yes.
That's not anymore a failure, and then you learn many things. That's the learning.
Next question. How did you become a BNI member?
It was just a coincidence also when one of my best friend was a member here last year. It was Engineer Lota who just called me up and said, "Hello Ching, can I invite you for a breakfast meeting tomorrow?" I said, "What is that all about?" She said, "Just come and listen." So I came over and joined the meeting, and right then and there, that instant when I was attending, I registered.
Wow. Okay.
That's-
And what made you decide to join right there and then? Because like for many of us, we like amos ang una-unaon or but so how about in your case? Why is it that right there and then you decided to join BNI? What's with that first meeting that made you
Decide?
Decide right away?
Because after the meeting, I was impressed. And then it wasn't been for job. My intention is not for business. It's a good association.
Right, yes.
This is the place where I can go to, where I am be with people I like to be with.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm Adeline, and I am live here at Waterfront Lahug, and I am with VR Spaces. So VR Spaces with PCI Tech and Cversity, they do VRs or virtual reality and augmented reality for architectural and industrial stuff. So let's say, for example, you're a real estate broker or dealer, or if you have a real estate company. So instead of inviting your client to go house to house and check out the house that you are selling, you can just use the VRs or the virtual reality that we have and just let your clients use it. It's actually very convenient and cost efficient, so they can check out the actual design of the house and the actual space of the house that you are selling. And we also do industrial stuff, so if you have any needs, you can just contact my bosses.
For the people who might view this content, this video, what can you say to them on what BNI did for you, or what can they benefit or they can gain from joining an organization like BNI?
What I can say to visitors we are inviting, they listen, they have to should be given also a good reception in order of them to keep listen if they just listen and listen and understand about the theory. BNI really is a very good group to be with because it really it will really like you. It will really gives you much advantage.
Yes.
That givers gain the core value of BNI if you internalize it.
Yes.
And then the moment you present, you're given presentation. So, well, speaking of the guest, how are we going to motivate the guest to be a member? Of you to present yourself very well, so that every time we have a guest, they will say they are very impressed. They are very impressed of the thing. So that's the beginning, maybe, of them to be interested to join, other than monetary reasons why they
Right,
cannot
yes.
register right
That's
away.
actually what happened to me when I joined. It was like, okay, I'm gonna get connections, I'm gonna get network. No, that's at first that's what my motivation is. No, na daghan kog makailad rin, daghan kog but you know the concept of giver's gain and the concept of farming and not hunting, those are the things that was inculcated upon me, to become a better businessman, because of those learnings coming from this. Because I'm very assertive when it comes to sales. I'm very, I'm a go-getter when it comes to getting clients. That's how I build my business from zero to what it is right now in just 2 years, because we just started 2 years ago. So, but joining this organization actually gave me a deeper insight on how to do business in a better way.
Yes, professionally.
Yes, professionally, with a long-term relationship in mind, not just one-time clients get their money and go on to the next transaction. It's very relational. It's very you again. It's a long-term mindset, right? That you can do business long-term, and as in your case, that you have already a long career in your profession. So how what is it that you can say with regards to that kind of concept that BNI has, like giver's gain and
It is very advantageous. It is very logical. It is very, very organized. But all of the concept of running a business professionally with credibility, it's in there. So you question me. You're asking me what I can advise our guests, our visitors. My advice to these visitors that's observing our meeting is just to try to really give chance to a one-to-ones of them to get more understanding, because they will not learn right away like all other members. All of us do not have that kind of appreciation right away.
right.
It not until, like me, it took me more than 1 year to appreciate really.
Wow.
Yeah. Until time that you have that relationships. If relationships will be established to one another, that's the time that you really understand and impose the core value of BNI. If you don't internalize really those core values, you cannot appreciate well. There you have the impression, but still, what? It's just that impression. It is good, but cannot paraphrase, cannot explore more about. But if you understand about why you should have to be very visible, do not absent, and then present yourself very well to gain credibility, and then that's how we profit. That's it. So those visitors also, I don't know more how many percentage of guests. For 10 guests, maybe 2 register.
Or maybe less.
Or maybe less. Because sometimes they don't maybe understand very well. They just listen, and then it's us members to really present it well, to give our visitors a good impression. So they will be enthusiastic to listen more and visit more, and then until they decide to, they discover the advantage himself. Because unless they, what I mean is, it takes really time to understand the group, understand the value, the core value, not at once.
Right.
Not at once. Like yesterday, I happened to have a visitor at the house. He is a faculty in a certain prestigious school here. So I remember calling him up yesterday afternoon. He said, "Sir, can I invite you for a breakfast meeting tomorrow?" I said, "Breakfast meeting?" "What is that?" He said, "Yes, sir, it's where will that be?" I said, "At Golden Prince, 6:30. He said, "Is that the BNI?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Is that the BNI?" I said, "Oh, sir, yeah, ma'am. I happen to attend 2 meetings already." And yes, sir. And then what happened? Siya, the reason why I did not decide to register because I'll be limited on my movement. How about that impression, sir? Why you be limited? Siya, because it seems like maybe the way they presented the logic of you lock in your competitor.
Right,
You
right.
lock in maybe that's
okay.
what, maybe it was not being presented well when he came about. That's why maybe so that the membership counts more on the presenter. Yeah, because this presenter, they visualize, they will observe, and then they will gain knowledge about how are we working. So I cannot blame him having that impression. I said, "Sir, come with me, and I will show you. It's not that it's contrary."
Right.
I told him I will convince him. Siya, "Okay, I go with you next time. I will introduce him to you."
Sige, Mama Ching. All right. So at this point, let's talk about the meat of the one-to-one, which is the gains exchange.
Oh yeah.
And so G is for goals. So let me ask you. So you have like a long, prosperous career. What are your goals in the short term and also in the long term for?
My goal in the long term, if I still have a long time, maybe short, if or whatever, is just to be with the group and inspire the group. Just inspire the group, because being here is just a like unwinding myself. I like really. I'm happy to come. I'm happy to come. If I don't, when in business, I don't care. It's not really money after all.
Right.
I enjoy with people
Yes.
here.
I think that's the most important thing, right? If you enjoy being with the people that you do business with, or you just enjoy the people that you see on a weekly basis,
Yeah.
and it's again, in BNI, it's not just all business, but we gain friends along the way.
Yeah.
With different backgrounds and different age groups. And then that's one of the benefits, I think. It's
Long-lasting relationship.
right. Yes, long-lasting.
Friendship, and you build a family, and it's happy to be home.
All right. And then letter A for the gains exchange is achievements. So walk me through your long list of achievements in your
You are an
career.
achiever. I can see it in you. You are very intelligent. Also, you are an achiever. I can tell it.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah. But for yourself, for our Gains Exchange, what can you talk about in terms of the achievement that you have in your career or in your business?
Achievement that I have in my career, in my whole career, not in the BNI, in my practice.
In your practice.
I am very lucky, really. I have really achieved much more than I expect. Yeah. I wonder why God is so kind to me. I almost get what I want.
So what's the secret to getting what you want?
I don't know if why is it. I don't know. Maybe just being so honest. Me, I am very honest. I am straight.
So straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Okay.
If this is it, this is it. And then I work really very very hard to impress my clients. There are negatives, but I don't dwell with negativity. Too many people will speak against your back, but it's normal to me.
All right. So the next is I. So I is for interest. So aside from business and BNI, what are your interests?
In here, in the
No,
BNI,
outside of BNI or outside of your profession.
my interest.
Yeah, interests.
My interest is just living. My interest is just what interests me most
Yeah. What interests you most
in my life
yeah. I think that's
is serving my loved ones.
Oh,
Yeah, work hard for them, and then I take every opportunity to work hard for them. Not only my children, to my brothers and sisters, and then I love to share my blessings to them.
I think we all aspire to be like that one day, that we'll be able to share our blessings and
You will.
to take care of the loved ones that we have. All right. And the letter N for Gains Exchange is network. So aside from the BNI network, or what other social groups are you involved with, or your public network?
Yeah, I have been. I'm always a member of the Geotechnical Engineers of the Philippines, our professional associations, networks, connections, or
Yes.
yeah, I have established all those maybe in our association. I win friendship, everlasting friendships with my colleagues, and then speaking with networks with my clients. I always be of service to them from beginning to end until they grow old also. Because in the course of practice of our profession, we don't need to compete really, because the people who trust you would always go to you because they trust you, not the same people who trusted. What I mean is another professional, there are another people who trust him, and who trust him. He did not trust me because he don't know me. So it's like that. I have a lot of networks that also growing old.
Nice. Okay, and then the last letter for the Gains Exchange is skills. Can you say the skills that you have honed and developed throughout the years of practicing your profession?
The skill that I have developed tremendously. It's the practice. It's geodetic engineering. I really
So everything under the sun.
everything under the sun. I memorize the Bible. Even if I close my eyes, I know what's in and out of the professions that I can see. Even if I'm not the one executing the work, I know if it's right or wrong. Like that.
Right. So you just already have that spider instinct in
Yeah,
you.
like vibration.
Okay. So finally, I think at this juncture, Paul, let's talk about your business and let us know the services that you offer in depth and what are the ideal referral for you.
Yeah, the ideal referral to me are all builders. All builders
All
needs my
builders.
services.
Right, yes.
Before they start a building, you have to define the limits of the property that
Right.
you are building on.
Okay. So it has to be the builders, or does it has to be the property owner?
Property owners.
Property owners.
Or sometimes the
Is
builders
it
also.
is it the property owners who hires you, or the property owner would hire some like a builder first, and the builder would be the one to recommend your
There are
services?
more
How does it
occasions.
work?
Most of the time, the property owner, if they intend to buy or they intend to develop their property, sometimes the builders also, they buy this property from the owner who already has defined the limit of their property. But this builder like to review because they might get wrong in laying out the buildings. Yeah. So you always have that, and then when the building, when you set the foundation of the building, you pair the columns, you see to it that it's aligned. The wall, how can you imagine if the tall building is not aligned? So there is also they always need geodetic engineer to set the alignment of that building, of that wall, so that it's extremely straight, aligned.
Yes. All right. Okay, and I think it's time to wrap up. And I think my last question for you is, what is your Christmas message to all our beloved members of BNI Investment?
My Christmas message is, of course, happy exploring the podcast so that you learn more every day, and then just continue doing like what we do, one-to-one, to know more about each other, about the business of each other.
All right. So with that, Mami Ching, thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity, OJ. Okay.
So there we have it, episode 3 of the podcast. Pancrasia Bacus engineer, Pancrasia Bacus of Interfield Survey and Geotechnical Services.
Thank you very much, intelligent ka. You're very intelligent, I can see it.
Thank you.